So I've been sitting on this story for months, but I think I'm finally ready to share. Honestly, I'm still processing everything that happened, but typing this out might be therapeutic, right? Plus, I could really use some outside perspectives, because sometimes I still wonder if I went too far. Though most days I feel like I didn't go far enough. My husband Chris and I had been married for almost 10 years. We met in college. He was the computer science genius with the awkward smile. I was the accounting major who organized his chaotic life. Classic story. After graduation, we both landed decent jobs in LA. He joined a tech firm as a developer, and I became a CPA at a mid-sized accounting firm. We had this dream, a beautiful house in Valencia with a backyard big enough for the 2 kids we planned to have. We'd drive through neighborhoods on weekends, Chris behind the wheel of our Honda CR-V pointing at houses and saying, "Someday." For years we saved, skipping vacations, packing lunches, driving older cars, the whole responsible adult thing. 10 years of saying, "We'll enjoy it later," while watching our savings account grow to $120,000. Not exactly lottery winnings, but in this economy, it felt like we'd climbed Mount Everest. Last spring, we finally hit our goal. I'll never forget. That night, popping a bottle of La Marca Prosecco, the fancy stuff, not the barefoot we usually buy, sitting on our IKEA couch scrolling through Zillow listings. We were pre-approved for a mortgage. It was happening, or so I thought. 2 weeks later, I went to transfer our down payment to the escrow account, and that's when my entire world imploded. The money was gone. All of it. Just gone. I still remember staring at my Chase app like it was playing some sick joke on me. I called the bank thinking we'd been hacked. The customer service rep confirmed there had been a transfer, a completely authorized one, to a company called Next Tech Solutions, 3 months earlier. I had never heard of Next Tech Solutions. I confronted Chris that night, and that's when the truth came out. His sister Vanessa had started a tech company focused on some AI product for healthcare. I'll be honest, I still don't fully understand what it does, and at this point, I don't care. She needed investors, and Chris had temporarily invested our entire savings without telling me. "It's a sure thing, Lauren," he said, looking genuinely confused about why I was upset. "Vanessa's product is revolutionary. We'll triple our money in a year, easy." When I asked why he hadn't discussed this with me first, he just shrugged and said, "I knew you'd say no. You're too risk-averse. Sometimes you have to take chances in life." Too risk-averse? I'm an accountant. Being appropriately risk-averse is literally my job. But the worst part? His justification. "Family comes first, Lauren. She's my sister. Wouldn't you do the same for your brother?" No? I wouldn't steal from my husband to give my brother money, but thanks for asking. I'll spare you the details of the fight that followed. Let's just say it involved a lot of door slamming, me sleeping at my friend Jen's apartment for a week, and several tearful phone calls with my mom. I eventually moved back home, partly because I couldn't keep crashing on Jen's couch, and partly because Chris seemed genuinely remorseful. He promised the investment was solid, and we'd get our money back plus more. I decided to give him a chance to fix this, though trust was at an all-time low. 6 months passed. During that time, Chris would excitedly forward me articles about Nextech's growing reputation. Then the news hit. Nextech secured $25 million in venture capital funding. The company was now valued at over $100 million. I was relieved. Finally, we could get our money back plus whatever profit and move on. I asked Chris when we'd be getting our investment returned. His response, "Well, about that. Apparently, Vanessa claimed that the $120,000 wasn't an investment but a family gift. She was willing to give us $10,000 as a thank you. But nothing more." When I demanded to see paperwork from the original investment, Chris admitted there wasn't any. He'd just transferred the money as a show of good faith. Good faith? Are you kidding me? Chris didn't seem bothered at all. He kept saying things like, "We should be happy for her success, and she'll take care of us down the road." I was furious. That was our money, our future, our house, and now it was just gone. Given away to his sister, who was now apparently too good to honor her word. That's when I decided to take matters into my own hands. Updated. So there I was, completely devastated. And honestly, ready to call a divorce lawyer. But something in me just wouldn't give up. Maybe it was the accountant in me, or maybe it was just pure rage. But I couldn't accept that our decade of sacrifices was just gone. First, I did what any self-respecting millennial would do. I ugly cried while eating an entire pint of Ben & Jerry's Chunky Monkey and binge-watching Revenge on Hulu for inspiration. Then I pulled myself together and got to work. Here's where being a CPA came in clutch. Chris might understand coding, but I understand money trails. I started digging into everything I could find about Next Tech Solutions. I scoured their website, LinkedIn profiles, business registrations, anything publicly available. I even accidentally opened some mail addressed to Chris from Next Tech while he was at work. Oops! Meanwhile, I was playing it cool at home. You're right, honey, family is important, I'd say, while secretly plotting. Chris was so relieved I'd gotten over it that he didn't notice me spending late nights on my laptop. About 3 weeks into my investigation, I found something interesting. Years ago, when we were first married, Chris and I had set up a small LLC for some freelance work we were doing on the side. We'd named it CL Enterprises. For Chris and Lauren, how cute, right? We'd only used it for a few projects before, focusing on our regular jobs, and honestly, I'd almost forgotten about it. But here's the thing. We never officially dissolved it. And when I checked the bank records, I discovered that's where the money had gone from before hitting Nextech. Chris had transferred our savings to our old LLC account first, then to his sister's company. This little detail changed everything. I immediately called my former law professor from college who specialized in business law. She agreed to meet me for coffee at a Starbucks far enough from my neighborhood that I wouldn't run into anyone I knew. So legally, she explained, stirring her latte. If the money went from your joint LLC to her company, it could be considered a business transaction, not a personal gift, regardless of what was verbally agreed upon. Even without paperwork? I asked. It certainly complicates things for them, she smiled, especially in California. She referred me to an actual attorney friend of hers who offered me a consultation. When I showed him everything I'd found, he practically high-fived me. This is good, Lauren. Really good, he said. They made a rookie mistake. Turns out, since the money came from our business entity, there was an implied business arrangement. And since Nextech had accepted funds from a separate business entity without any documentation stating it was a gift, they'd left themselves wide open. The lawyer drafted a letter to Nextech Solutions, outlining our position. Either recognize CL Enterprises' investment properly with appropriate equity, or return the funds plus interest. I didn't tell Chris about this. Not yet. 3 days after the letter was sent, I got a call from an unknown number while grocery shopping at Trader Joe's. It was Vanessa, and boy, was she pissed. What the hell, Lauren? She hissed. We had an understanding with Chris. Did you? I replied, keeping my voice level while selecting avocados. Because my understanding was that my husband invested our life savings without my knowledge or consent. And now your company is worth millions, and you're offering us pocket change. It was a gift, she insisted. Chris knew that. Well, unfortunately for you, the money came from CL Enterprises, our joint business entity, and businesses don't typically gift 6 figures without documentation. The line went silent for a moment. You're being ridiculous, she finally said. This is family. No, Vanessa, this is business, and in business we keep records and honor agreements. She hung up on me. I treated myself to some dark chocolate peanut butter cups to celebrate. Worth it. That evening, Chris came home looking like someone had run over his dog. Vanessa called me, he said, dropping his keys on the counter. Lauren, what are you doing? I explained everything I'd found and the legal position we were in. His face went through about 17 emotions in 30 seconds. You can't do this to my sister, he said, but I could tell he was less certain now. I'm not doing anything to her, I replied. I'm doing something for us. That was our money, Chris. Our future. But no buts. Either she recognizes our investment properly, or she returns the money. Those are the only 2 acceptable outcomes here. The next few days were tense. Chris was sleeping in the guest room, and we barely spoke. Then my attorney called. Nextech's lawyers wanted a meeting. I wore my power suit, the navy one I saved for big client presentations, and walked into that meeting like I owned the place. Vanessa was there with 2 attorneys and a financial guy. Chris had refused to come. Vanessa's lead attorney started with the usual posturing about family misunderstandings and how they were disappointed. It had come to this. I let my lawyer do most of the talking, but when Vanessa tried to interrupt with some emotional plea about how I was tearing the family apart, I'd had enough. Let me be clear, I said, leaning forward. You took our house fund, money we spent a decade saving. And now you're acting like we should be grateful for crumbs from your table. This isn't about family, it's about basic integrity. The meeting lasted 3 hours. By the end, they'd agreed to recognize CL Enterprises as an early investor with equity, reflecting our $120,000 investment at the company's valuation at that time. Do you know what that meant? Our $120,000 was now worth approximately $3.6 million in equity. When I got home and told Chris, I expected him to be thrilled. Instead, he was conflicted. Vanessa says you strong-armed her, he said. She's really upset. Vanessa tried to steal from us, I replied. And you let her. That night, he finally asked the question I'd been waiting for. Can we work past this? I honestly didn't know. The money was secure now, but the trust, that was still broken into a million pieces. The next morning, I found him making pancakes. My favorite breakfast, with this puppy dog look on his face. I messed up, he said, sliding a plate toward me. Massively. I should have talked to you first. Yes, you should have. And I should have stood up to Vanessa when she tried to change the terms. Yes, you should have. He sat down across from me. I don't want to lose you, Lauren. Whatever it takes to fix this, I'll do it. I took a bite of pancake to buy myself time. The truth was, I still loved him. But I also knew things could never go back to how they were before. I need time, I said finally, and space to figure out what I want. Final update. It's been 8 months since everything went down with Nextech, and I'm writing this from the backyard of my new house in Valencia. Yep, my house, just my name on the deed. It's got the open kitchen I always wanted, and a backyard perfect for a golden retriever, who I've named Karma because I'm petty like that. After everything settled legally, I decided I needed a fresh start. I took my portion of the Nextech equity and made a down payment on this place. Chris and I are technically separated, but we're in therapy, both individually and together. He's trying. I'll give him that. Last week, he helped me assemble an entire IKEA bedroom set without a single complaint. And yesterday, when Vanessa called him whining about some company drama, he actually said, "Sorry, sis, I need to check with Lauren first," which honestly might be the sexiest thing he's ever said. Do I know if we'll make it? Not yet. Trust is like that IKEA furniture, much easier to break than rebuild. But here's what I do know. I'll never again put my financial future in someone else's hands. And I sleep pretty damn well at night knowing that every time Nextech's valuation goes up, so does my bank account. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just getting even, it's getting ahead. And let me tell you, being financially independent feels better than any relationship ever could. As for Chris, the guest bedroom is made up. Whether he eventually moves in permanently or not is still TBD. But either way, I'm good. Smile emoji. Sometimes you have to lose everything to realize what you really deserve.